What's going on, everybody? It's Stas here. So the stock market was all over the place today. We had the S&P 500 break even. The Dow went up 0.1%. We had the NASDAQ 100 go down 0.2%. And somehow, some way, the Russell went up over 1.1% as across the board, small caps did very well today. So in this video, we're going to break down some charts, my thoughts on the market, stocks I'm looking at right now, and kind of how I'm navigating this environment as we're very close to all-time highs. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your coffee. You might as well go down below, get 2 free stocks from Webull, $30 free from M1 Finance, and you guys could also check out my Patreon, and again, all of those are linked down below. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. So look, SPY, and I mentioned this earlier, SPY ended up breaking out this morning. We got to 422.72, but it didn't hold. You guys can see on the intraday chart, we hit 422.70, but we crashed from market open all the way to about 11 a.m. So the first hour and a half here in the beginning of the markets. And by the way, I'm in the East Coast, so I'm using East Coast times. It went down from 422 to about 419.50. That was a drop close to 0.8%. And you guys notice we held 419.50 pretty much for the rest of the day. And what I was looking at here as I was prepping for this video, I'm seeing an inverse head and shoulder forming on the intraday chart here on SPY. We have the left shoulder, we have the head right here, and the right shoulder is forming. And the way that an inverse head and shoulder would play out is boom, this would end up filling the gap back up towards the high from earlier today at about 422.75, roughly in a perfect world. That is what would happen if this were to be a textbook inverse head and shoulder. Now, will that happen? I don't know. It might not. It very well might not happen. You know, a lot of the time in the stock market, what you think's going to happen, it's not what ends up happening, right? So this might not happen, but as of now, I'm seeing an inverse head and shoulder, clear as day, here on the intraday chart on SPY, and pulling back on the 10-day chart, I'm just simply looking to see if we end up holding a higher low here at 419, which as of now we are, and we end up pushing back towards the highs from earlier today and over 421 in general, because 421, especially that we closed, since we closed under it, is now a big resistance because now we're at 419.70. So I want to say if we pop up tomorrow, if so, do we take out the highs from today? Do we end up breaking out of the all-time high resistance, being at about 423.59 at this point in time? That's kind of what I'm looking for. Very simple. And these technicals are not too difficult to understand at this point. I mean, we've seen way more wonky technicals in the past. At this point, they're just very easy to understand. We're just super close to all-time highs. And for that reason, I'm not necessarily going ham in the markets right now, buying everything left and right. In fact, I did some buying past couple of weeks, as the markets did take a hit, especially in those tech names. But the past couple of days, I've just been laying low. I have some cash. I bought some gold stocks, a gold ETF, and that's kind of what I've been doing as of late. And later in this video, I'm going to share with you all 2 gold mining, silver mining, just mining stocks in general, 2 of them that I'm looking at right now that, in my opinion, are looking quite good. So SPY, that's the breakdown for today. QQQ is also at an interesting spot. We failed at 335 yet again today. I mentioned this in the video earlier. I don't want to overlap too much of the content here, but I'm going to say it again. We failed at 335, 336, but a good sign is we held the higher low overall on the 10-day chart. You guys can see that. The uptrend's continuing. And yeah, I think this needs to squeeze back over the moving averages for the bulls to take charge here on the 10-day chart, and that would be anywhere above 334. And if that were to happen, I would have some confidence that, hey, we're going to test 336 and maybe ultimately break out of that level and start pushing towards the 340, 345 level, which would end up being an all-time high here. So that's my thoughts quickly on QQQ and SPY. We had the VIX go bananas today. VIX went up about 7%. And yeah, I guess that's not bananas. I mean, we've seen it do a lot crazier than that. But yeah, 7% green day for the VIX. Gold didn't do much at close, went down 0.15%. Silver went down 0.09%. And that's kind of crazy considering silver was up a lot earlier in the day. I think at one point it was up close to 2%. And crude oil, oh man, crude oil today and the energy stocks, guys. Shout out to you that own the crude oil or any energy stocks for that matter. You know, I personally own XOM. This did well today, 3.6%. Green Day, you know, COP is another one, up 4.5%. We've been calling all of these out. You know, CVX probably did well. Yep, 2.7%. Green Day. So all across the board today, we were all over the place, but overall, crude oil and energy definitely, you know, these energy stocks, they definitely led the day today. No doubt about it, right? And of course, AMC, which we'll talk about, and GameStop for that matter, which we'll talk about later in this video. So what are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments. I'd love to know, what moves are you making? And if you all are enjoying the video so far, hey, hit the like button. That's greatly appreciated. It helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. And let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video, starting off with Zoom stock. And we have a bunch of stocks to talk about today. Zoom is one that just reported earnings, and this is a company that it's quite interesting. A lot of people are on one side of the fence. A lot of people are on the other side of the fence. And by that I mean there's the camp that's saying, oh, Zoom, it's overvalued. The bubble's popping. After the whole CV situation is over, business back to normal, this stock's going to go to the ground. You know, no one's going to use Zoom anymore. Then there's the other side of the fence that's like, hey, slow your roll there. Put the brakes on. You know, Zoom, maybe the valuation is it's worth what it's valued at this point, considering that maybe the people that are using Zoom for business and so forth are still going to use it. There's going to be a market for this after the CV craziness, and I'm in that camp, to be honest. I think there's still going to be a market for Zoom, and enough with the talking. Let's look at the chart. First and foremost, Zoom, it's still in a downwards channel. That's pretty obvious. And if I just clear this drawing set and redraw it for you all, if you guys are visual, you're going to like this. You know, if I redraw this, clearly we're in a downwards channel, and I kind of botched that a little bit, but bear with me. You can see we're about to test the resistance right now. In fact, we're up about $8-9 after hours after they reported earnings, and they did EPS of $1.32 versus 99 cents estimated, so that ended up beating by a wide margin. Pretty good if you ask me. Revenue came in at $956 million versus $900 million estimated. So they beat revenue, beat EPS, and this company is a $100 billion market cap. And I'm not going to lie, that, I don't know, I feel like it might be a bit lofty. I would like Zoom a lot better if we're looking at it from a long-term perspective. If it got down a bit, maybe 50 billion, 75 billion, because as of now, if you're taking that 100 million, or the 900 rather, let's just say 1 billion they just did in revenue, times 4. Let's say they do 4 billion in the year with a $100 billion market cap. That's a price of sales of 25. So if you're into those valuation metrics, whether it's price to sales, price to free cash flow, price to earnings, you're going to look at that price of sales and you're going to be like, oh my God, 25 price of sales, that's a bit lofty. But then you have to ask yourself, does the growth warrant a 25 price to sales ratio? I mean, that's a whole different topic for a whole different video. Some might say yes, some might say no. But for me, I feel like that needs to come down a bit. And if it does, who knows? I might even add Zoom to my long-term growth portfolio. that's always possible. I'm never going to say, oh, I'm never adding this stock, because if it gets to the right valuation, if I'm looking long term, hey, I might add it. And when we're looking at a trading perspective, because I do both, guys, right? I do long-term investing and I do trading, mostly swing trading for income, right? That's how I make a lot of my money, is from trading. And yeah, I'm looking at this, like I said earlier, if it breaks the downwards channel, takes 355 out, that is where I think we could start gaining some momentum, especially if volume starts kicking in here on Zoom. And another thing that I'm liking is their earnings were pretty good, like I said, but we also saw the earnings guidance for EPS and revenue. That is pretty good. I'm not sure if you all can see this right here. Let me move my face quickly. You guys can see right here, they see Q2 adjusted EPS of $1.14 to $1.15 versus the 94-cent estimate. So the EPS for the next quarter is above estimates, and sales for the next quarter right around 985 to 990 million versus 931 million. So that beat, and they see full year adjusted for 2022 EPS of 4.56 to 4.61 versus 3.76. And they see sales of $4 billion versus $3.8 billion estimated for full year 2022. And that's not too bad. That is not too bad. If you ask me, they beat EPS, beat revenue. The guidance is up for both EPS and revenue. Now you have to ask yourself, like I said, is the valuation too high? Are the technicals, excuse me, guys, are the technicals going to line up for a breakout? You have to ask yourself these things. And as of now, the technicals are not showing us for a breakout. And again, the price of sales is 25. So is that too much? It might not be. You have to ask yourself that. So those are some thoughts quickly here on Zoom. Lemonade LMND is another one that I wouldn't necessarily consider at this point as a long-term investment, but from a trading perspective, hey, I like this. We're breaking the channel, the downwards channel on the 4-hour chart here, and we are also seeing how we're about to get a 50 SMA cross above the 180 SMA, which is a golden cross, and we're actually trading above all the moving averages. So in my opinion, although Lemonade might not be out of the woods yet, it's getting pretty close. Let's put it that way. I think we'd get a lot more momentum if it breaks above $100. That was the double top resistance from the end of March into the middle towards the end of April. So Lemonade, I like it. We're slowly peeking out of here, but we're not quite yet out of the woods. So I want to set an alert. Maybe at $100, maybe let's put it at $98. We'll watch it as it approaches that double top resistance. So I like LMMD here. And AMC, let's break down some AMC right now. And what are we doing? Oh man, up 22% on the day today. Unbelievable. Up almost $6 per share. And if you bought that dip on Friday, you would have made a lot of money, pretty much regardless of where you bought it. Even if you bought it at $30, $29, if you bought it at $25, you would definitely be making some money right now. But if you bought any time on Friday past 10 a.m. on the East Coast, you're up right now. And by the looks of it, the trend is still up. I mean, we're not selling off quite yet whatsoever. I'm not seeing any signs of selling pressure. In fact, the uptrend's continuing, right? We held a higher low at 25 on Friday. We gapped up, which confirmed, and that was today. We gapped up, confirming the uptrend continuing. Now I just want to see if AMC, you guys probably guessed it, fills the gap to the high from Friday. That was at about $36.75 to about $37. So I think the rally, it might not be done. I think there could be some more upside, and I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty about short interest, all the shares that exist. I'm not going to talk about that today, but overall, this is what we're seeing. And quite frankly, you've been hammered with AMC content. You guys know what you're looking at. I mean, come on. Who hasn't made an AMC video this week? Everyone and their grandma has made an AMC video. I don't need to add to that pile right now of videos. And yeah, that's just it. I mean, look, if this continues on the course it's on right now, by the looks of it, it's going back to the mid, maybe even high 30s. So that's my thoughts. Am I in it? No. I actually sold out a little bit ago. I made some money. I'm very happy with the money I made. And I hope you guys do well. I really hope you guys do well here on AMC if you're in it. But understand the risks that you're taking. You know, this could easily collapse if people aren't diamond handing like they all claim they are. And trust me, guys, half of these people that claim diamond hands, they're the first to sell. They're going to be the first to just hit that sell button whenever they're up a little bit. And that's going to cause a domino effect of selling. And you guys know, I mean, if the shorts pile in heavier, this thing could easily go back down to its fair value. And that is something you must understand. And if you think this is fair value for AMC, $32 a share, you're mistaken. I mean, this company at fair value, should I say, it's a single dollar stock. I mean, this would be a $4 stock at fair value or something. But you all know that. This is not trading on fundamentals. This is trading on share manipulation. And it's just a lot right now. So those are my thoughts there on AMC. Alibaba is another one that if you look on the 4-hour chart, you might not see what I'm seeing. You can see this. We're still downtrending. But if you look on the 3-year chart, Alibaba looks pretty good. Look at this. 3-year chart is showing a nice pullback, nice retracement. It's down 36% from that $319 all-time high. And quite frankly, looking back, I know hindsight's 2020, of course it is, but looking back, $319 was very overbought on Alibaba, and this sell-off from October to now, 7 months, guys, this bear market in the stock was much needed, was very much needed. And now we're seeing 2 candlesticks, green candlesticks, formed. They formed above the 180 SMA here at a higher low on the 3-year chart. And we got the big gap up, today up 2.6%. So I think Alibaba, although on the 4-hour chart, not out of the woods yet, I believe this could end up being a pretty nice play if we break out of the overall downtrend wedge that we're noticing here on the 4-hour. If this ends up breaking 225, 230, this could be in play for maybe a multi-month swing, multi-week swing. I'm not sure, right? It really depends on your time horizon, but overall, I do believe Alibaba will do well. You know, I really do. I think it will have some opportunity from here. So that is ticker symbol BA, IPOE, and SoFi. You guys remember this one? Chamath Palihapitiya's one of his many SPACs out there. This one ended up merging today. This was IPOE. Now it's trading under the ticker symbol SOFI, SoFi, you know, the personal finance company. And I'm not sure why it doesn't say the percentage that it went up today, but the stock did pretty well today. It was at $20 earlier at about 9:50 a.m. on the East Coast. Now it's up, oh my gosh, it's up even more after hours. It closed at $22.65, so from $20.40 to $22.65, that was about a 10% move throughout the day, and it's up to $23.25 now, which is up 12% from the low of the day. So I like SoFi here, not necessarily as a long-term investment. I feel like I have enough exposure in that space already in my portfolio, but as a swing trade, pulling back IPOE's chart, you guys can see we're breaking out. We have been over the past couple of weeks. We're seeing the golden cross as well on the 4-hour here, and give it a couple of days, and ThinkOrSwim and a lot of these charting softwares, they'll update the chart. So when you type in SoFi, it'll pull up IPOE's chart. It'll pretty much merge them together. So I like this. I believe there is upside, probably to the mid-high 20s. I think we could ultimately test that high point from back in the beginning of 2021, more towards the end of January. So I'm watching this, and a lot of the time what we notice is, and be careful of this, guys, is when SPACs officially merge, they go down a bit. They sell off a bit. I mean, we've seen this with a lot of them, from ChargePoint to this one to that one. So be mindful of that on ticker symbol SOFI. And if you all stuck this far into the video, let me know down below. Type in stuck till the end, because we're going to talk about 2 gold and silver mining stocks that have been doing so well, and I've been calling these out left and right. One of them is First Majestic Silver, ticker symbol AG. You guys can see on the hourly chart, boom, today we hit a high of 1890. We're up 3.5%. We broke out of the consolidation range that we were in from the 17th of May all throughout today, and that was around 1730 support up to about 1810 resistance. So AG's breaking out, and like I've mentioned in many videos, I'm thinking this one's going $20, $21 at least. That is where I think it's heading, and today's breakout out of the horizontal consolidation channel really confirms that. So I'm not in this one quite yet. I do have exposure, like I mentioned earlier in the video, to different gold investments. I own Barrick Gold. I own GDXJ. AG is next on the list. This one's the next on the list that I'm wanting to add. And Freeport McMoran, FCX, this is another one that I've mentioned a lot here on the YouTube channel. This one went up 3.5% today as well. We held a higher low. We covered that previously. Now we're pushing up. Uptrend's continuing. Now we're about to push to $45 per share, which has been resistance back in the middle of May, beginning of May. So I think ultimately the ascending triangle will play out here because that is what this is. And I think FCX could break 45, fill the gap to 46.50, and push higher from there. How high will it go? I wish I knew because I'd buy so much of this stock right now, but I think it could go much higher, and maybe not much higher. I don't want to set the expectations to the moon, right, like a lot of these other YouTube channels, but let's just say I think it's going to do pretty well, probably to the high 40s. We'll leave it at that. And Beyond Meat, last stock for today, guys, is down 8%, actually 7%, and this is one that went up in a straight line from $100 to $155 in the span of a couple of days, and now we're giving back some of those gains, and rightfully so. Profit taking is very healthy, and that is what we're seeing right now. So I believe Beyond Meat could have some more downside, maybe to about 120, 125, right around these moving averages. And if that ends up holding, that could end up being the sweet spot to add some shares as that RSI gets down to a healthier spot. And if we consolidate a bit there, that'd be an even better sign to potentially buy on the way back up, or what rather, if it's consolidating, we have to wait for the pop back up before getting in for confirmation of the continuation. But we'll see. Overall, those are the stocks today, guys. Zoom, Lemonade, AMC, Alibaba, SoFi, First Majestic Silver, Freeport McMoran, and Beyond Meat. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys don't miss out any videos, and feel free to check out my video from earlier. I covered NEO in that video and two other stocks that I didn't mention in this video. I'll link that down below. Make sure to also check out my Patreon if you guys want my real-time buys, sells, call outs, whether it's trades I'm making from options, swing trades, or long-term investments. I'm talking about everything on Patreon there, and you also get more access to me, one-on-one access, and you get morning update videos every day. That's on Patreon, link down below, or you can go to patreon.com/DasSurFest, and don't forget to also get 2 free stocks from Webull. Those are valued up to $1,600, and you could also get $30 from M1 Finance and $10 from Coinbase. All of those are linked right down below. That's literally free money. Go take advantage of that. I'll see you all later on. Thanks again for tuning in. Check out that NEO video. It's right here. Click on that. See you there, guys. Again, thanks for tuning in. Keep crushing the market. Stay safe out there. Peace out.